Hello, everyone. Thank you for taking time out of your day to come here to learn about making your free Findable. I'm Bill Forget, Senior Solution Strategist at OCLC, and this is a topic that I really am excited to talk about. A few years back, 2017 at the Charleston Conference, a lot of libraries were talking about open access materials and how they can enhance their collections and actually reduce the cost that they spend in their acquisition of materials. The trouble was, there's a lot of open access materials, and how do you keep track of them? As we fast forward to this year, I'm going to be talking about how if you have open access materials, how can you share those with the wider community? Now, many of you know open access, and this is a definition that I really like. But open access started out of an agreement that was done in Berlin in 2003, where it set forth the ideas of open access to tear down the walls, in essence, get rid of the financial, technological, and legal hurdles for materials. So that way it would make it easier for the researchers to download, print, use research, and to continue the research. In 2007, Hood researched with all the ARL libraries and found that nearly all of them were using open access materials in their library or creating open access content. So this is more than 10 years ago now. But again, how are the libraries sharing that information? Now, open access has some benefits and some hurdles, notably the ease of access and hosting, because URLs change, technology changes, platforms change. Even with ebooks from providers, when you have a platform change, it impacts the access for them. But the benefits for many outweigh these challenges, and it's a continual push to keep your materials updated. Well, as OCLC members, you have a lot of tools at your disposal to make these open access materials available to the community in an easy format. One of my favorite quotes come from Joseph up at McGill. They were looking at the WorldCat knowledge base and seeing the power behind it for sharing information. And McGill has created and contributed collections to share out to other libraries on this platform, as well as their own users. When you're using the knowledge base, you can do some great things, such as control the URLs, so that way they're easily updated. You can attach them to the MARC records so libraries can find the information, download them into their own catalog. Some of the examples of open access that libraries are creating and sharing through, in this case, an OCLC tool called Content DM, Frontier Nursing University is making their dissertation and research papers available online. You can also find these in worldcat.org and go out to view them directly. North Dakota, now this view is in WorldCat Discovery, but North Dakota has a whole bunch of historical photos that they have made available open access. In this case, I'm looking at a Content DM collection, but through WorldCat Discovery, and we're bringing through the images, and it's IIIF. So I can go in, pinch, zoom, and manipulate the photo as needed. I can go out and still take a look at the original source in its native environment as well. University of California is taking a lot of their research and making it available directly in WorldCat, allowing libraries to download those records, contribute them to their catalogs, and it contains the link to go and view the actual research in their repository. So how are you going to get started with sharing? As an OCLC member, you have access to a lot of tools to get this started. First, a digital repository, such as Content DM, or any other third-party repository. Just make sure it's OAI PMH compliant. That way, through the Open Archives Initiative protocol, you can transfer that record from that repository and automatically create a MARC record into WorldCat. That's done by using the WorldCat Digital Gateway, a tool that's made available to every library at no cost. So that way they may harvest their repositories and contribute them to WorldCat. WorldCat as a repository for the world, which can be searched by anyone. And then, of course, the WorldCat knowledge base is the key if you really want to take that next step to be able to share collections distinctly with other libraries. Now, the Digital Gateway, as I mentioned, is a resource that you go in, you set up your profile, and when you log in, you're able to map your collections, which may be in Dublin Core, to MARC. So it'll say take the creator and automatically map it to, the author field, the 100. You set up the frequency that will automatically harvest these records from your OAI PMH compliant repository into WorldCat, and it will automatically then do the add, update, and deletes of those on the frequency that you set. Now, the gateway is in use by a lot of libraries. Now, I do have a cheat sheet in my pocket because it's a lot of symbols down here, but some of the big ones, as we can see, is the National Library of France. In Japan, the National Information Institute, National Library of Medicine, AUT, that's the National Library in Australia, and so forth. It keeps on going. I see here EYM, which is the University of Michigan, which actually started a lot of the OAI repositories in the Oyster database, which OCLC now houses. Now, the knowledge base, libraries are creating these collections and curating them. Libraries have created their own collections and put them in there, and there have been more than 350 of those that have been declared open access. There's even more that have not been officially published yet. For instance, I'm working with Regent College up in British Columbia, where they're working on a collection of Puritan historical materials, and when they finish setting up the collection, they will activate it in the knowledge base for other libraries to take advantage of. There's OA scholarly articles, obviously thesis and dissertations, but also digital objects as well. This is just a sample of some of the contributed collections from our member libraries. And some of the biggies that jump to mind, the DTLA, Digital Theological Library of America. They will work with libraries to digitize their collections and create the knowledge-based collections. And in this case, I'm showing examples where they assisted with Harvard. ProQuest dissertations and thesis, open access. Now, yes, ProQuest has a lot of thesis, dissertations on their platform. A good number of them are actually open access. A library out in California has created a repository specifically of those open access theses to make it easier for libraries to activate the collection and either do a MARC record delivery to load those records into their library management system, or if you're using WorldCat Discovery, you just hit select and they will automatically be in your discovery layer. To recap the process, you harvest your OAI PMH compliant repositories using the WorldCat Digital Gateway. You're going to convert these records with a tool such as like MARC Edit from a MARC file to a KBART file, because that will then ease the creation of creating a custom collection in the WorldCat knowledge base. Then you publish it to the community. All of these tools are available to you as members. Again, going back to that Charleston conference in 2017, when I came back, I was talking to the different folks in the product area. Wouldn't it be nice if we had a filter to quickly get to the OA materials? And so in WorldCat.org, there's now the open access filter. In WorldCat Discovery, the open access filters, and as an added service, because for the subscribers, the DOIs that get verified through Unpay wall, which we'll talk about in a moment. Also, which is not pictured, is interlibrary loan. WorldShare interlibrary loan and TAPASA will display open access links as long as you've configured them in the knowledge base. So when you're working on a request, you can fulfill it if there's an OA material that has that item. We will provide the link for it. Now, Unpaywall is a great service. What they do is they verify the DOIs of open access materials. So that way, when you have your discovery layer, such as WorldCat Discovery, configured with Unpaywall, which is just a check of a box, it will automatically verify the DOI links to make sure they are live and working. With WorldCat Discovery, we like to make it easy. You do not need to go in and code in a style sheet to have it utilize Unpaywall. It's just a simple check of a box, and you're working with it. So now this is that fun slide where I do that call to action. What will you share? Now, of course, this was some to take in, but really, in essence, you want to take a look at that digital collection gateway and also cooperative management on the help pages at OCLC, which is help.oclc.org. Thank you very much.